welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a really fascinating corner of distributed ledger tech. It often gets overlooked, kind of in the shadow of Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah,
We're talking about Hedera or Hedera Hashgraph. And it's built differently.
that's right. So if you've been wondering, what comes after those first couple of generations of DLT, this is definitely for you. Hedera really positions itself as designed right from the start to tackle 5 big hurdles. Yeah, things holding back adoption: performance, security, governance, stability, and regulatory compliance. So what does all this mean for you? We'll unpack it.
Okay, let's do that. Unpack it. You said it's not a blockchain? So what is it? What's the core difference there?
Right. So at its heart, Hedera uses something called a directed acyclic graph, a DAG.
A DAG, okay.
And it's powered by this algorithm called Hashgraph. So instead of like a single chain of blocks, picture more of a complex web, multi-directional.
A web.
Yeah, where events, data points, they're all woven in very quickly.
Okay, so if it's a web, not a chain, how does it reach consensus? How does everyone agree?
Well, it uses this gossip about gossip protocol. It sounds a bit funny.
It does.
But it basically means information spreads super fast, exponentially. Nodes tell each other what they know and who told them. And then, this is the really interesting part, it gets consensus through virtual voting.
Virtual voting, so no actual votes.
Exactly. Each node figures out independently what every other honest node would vote based on the gossip history without sending any actual vote messages across the network.
Wow.
It's a huge gain in efficiency.
That sounds,
Yeah,
really different.
Yeah.
So what does this unique tech actually deliver? What are the benefits for us or for applications?
Well, the big one is incredible performance.
Yeah.
And predictability. We're talking like 10,000 transactions per second plus.
10,000. Wow.
And finality in just 3 to 5 seconds. But here's the key thing. That finality, it's deterministic.
Deterministic, meaning?
Meaning, with mathematical certainty, right then, that the transaction is final and irreversible.
Yeah.
It's not probabilistic, like, oh, it's probably final after 6 blocks.
Okay, I see. That's huge for certain industries.
Absolutely. And the security is backed by something called asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance, ABFT. It's widely considered the gold standard for security in these kinds of systems. They've even got a formal mathematical proof checked by computer.
A proof. Okay, they're serious about the security aspect.
Here.
What about costs? Speed and security are great, but if it costs a fortune?
Good question. And vital for enterprises, right? They need predictable costs. Hedera delivers here, too. It offers really, really low fixed fees, and they're denominated in US dollars.
Fixed in dollars, not in the native token.
Correct. So think about 0.00001 per transaction, roughly.
Wow.
Which means, crucially, whether the price of HBAR, their token, goes up or down, the cost to run your application stays stable.
That is very different. It changes the whole token dynamic.
It does. It means HBR's value is tied more to securing the network, staking, rather than just, speculation on transaction fee value.
Okay, let's talk governance. This is often a sticking point. Many DLTs have, let's say, less structured or anonymous governance. Hedera is different here too, isn't it?
Yes, very different. It's governed by the Hedera Council. This is a group of up to 39 major global organizations. Think Google, IBM, Boeing, big law firms like DLA Piper.
So established, known entities.
Exactly. Each gets an equal vote. It's a model designed for stability, accountability, things enterprises really look for. Now, some people criticize it, say it's centralized.
I was going to ask about that.
And Hedera is quite open about it. They call this a temporary phase, part of a deliberate path to permissionless operation.
A path to permissionless, meaning eventually anyone could run a node.
That's the stated goal. The council's role is sort of stewardship during this growth phase. They've open sourced the code, and there's a roadmap.
Interesting. So given this structure, the tech, the governance, the fees, what does this mean for actual real-world use? What's running on Hedera?
Well, this focus on enterprise needs means some of the biggest uses are, you might say, kind of boring, but incredibly impactful.
Sometimes boring is revolutionary.
Exactly. Like Avery Dennison's platform at anime.io, it's tracking billions, literally billions of physical items across supply chains.
Billions.
Or the Coupon Bureau. They're digitizing universal manufacturer coupons, verifying them on Hedera, millions of transactions a day driven by that super low fixed fee.
Right. Those tiny fees make use cases like coupons actually viable.
Totally. And we're also seeing growth in tokenizing real-world assets, RWAs, and providing immutable audit trails, which is becoming really important for things like AI systems.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? Hedera seems to be making a very specific bet, doesn't it?
Right. It really is. It's a calculated bet that mass adoption of DLT will come from the practical needs of big enterprises, regulated institutions, people who need that performance, security, stability, and predictability.
So connecting that to the bigger picture,
hmm
what does Hedera tell us?
Well, it's a fascinating case study, isn't it? Can a public ledger, one designed with, corporate stewardship and compliance baked in, actually become the trust layer for the global economy?
Or will that more radical decentralization model win out?
That's the billion-dollar question. Things like the discussion around a potential HBAR ETF, an exchange-traded fund, that could be a real test. How do regulators view this specific model? It really forces us to ask which path gets DLT truly into the mainstream.